Welcome back, or welcome for the first time. We are going to talk today about some pop culture comics that a lot of collectors may not know about, but they're really cool, and they're keys, and they're hard to find in a lot of cases, and quite expensive. Also some variants from the early 70s that every collector needs to know about. There's a nuance here that I want to go over. But first, we're comic resellers. You can find us every week on Instagram, Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, for sure, and then a second day sometimes. So make sure to check out our live claim sale. We're both there every week. It's fun. Be there. We do other things as well.
Yes, we have Buy It Now feature on Instagram as well. I'll throw some up on the screen. We always have books for sale over there, so definitely check it out and give us a follow. Also, follow us over on eBay. We post books every single week. We have lowered our shipping costs, so you definitely want to check it out. Lower shipping costs, really high-grade comics and slabs over there.
New stuff all the time. Let's get right into it. I recently picked up some books. Here's this Betty and Veronica 198. Lights on it. Really fun cover, actually. The nuance here is that it's not a Mark Jeweler, but it was what Mark Jewelers were at the time, which is Diamond Distribution. And these are pretty fun. They're a little bit different. They look very similar on the double truck inside. However, like the back sold lingerie, which is weird in Archie. And they also had, on a lot of them, they had this thing for like training to be a security officer. Or these are professions that people in the military would go into, or, you know, if they're looking to get engaged because they missed their girlfriend, they would, you know, look at these and possibly buy a diamond ring. Rachel's going to talk more about the history of Mark Jewelers, and we're going to talk about Diamond Distribution, which only ran for really 1 year, 1972. Dovetailed on 71, 73, and then Mark Jewelers took over completely and they stopped advertising in comics. But if you get comics from that era, they're Mark Jewelers. It's just a different company than Mark Jeweler. Anyway, why don't you talk a little bit about the history?
Yeah, so I got this information from a couple different places online. This first part was from Cowabunga Comics, and I'll throw it up on the screen as I read it. The Mark Jewelers insert first appeared in comic books during the 1970s and continued into the early 1990s, and they were the product of a partnership between comic book publishers and Mark Jewelers, a jewelry retailer. The aim was to market engagement rings and other fine jewelry to U.S. military members stationed at bases, both domestic and abroad, which a lot of you probably already knew that. Like, most people know what a Mark Jewelers is or a Mark Jeweler insert, but if you didn't, this is what it looks like on the screen. And it's what you would typically see if you were to buy a book that had a Mark Jewelers insert. They were mostly, again, exchanged at military bases, and they had a bunch of different color inserts that I'll show on the screen now. If you have a newsstand from the 1970s to the 1990s, between 5 to 8% of those newsstands contained a Mark Jewelers insert.
If they haven't been ripped out.
If they hadn't been ripped out, but it's a very low distribution, considering that newsstands are already a lower distribution than a direct copy. Another indicator of a Mark Jeweler is a star stamp. Some Mark Jewelers have a star stamp on them. Some don't have a Mark Jewelers insert, but they were actually distributed through military bases.
Square bound things that couldn't be produced with an
like
insert
annuals
like
most of the time
Yeah.
have. If they were distributed through a military base, they'll have a star stamp on it. But a lot of times you can indicate if it is a Mark Jeweler, if it is a newsstand and has a star stamp. You don't even have to look inside.
Yeah, so if you have a book with a star stamp but no Mark Jeweler insert, it's not considered a Mark Jeweler.
No, but you can say it was distributed at a military base. So go a little bit before Mark Jewelers started. We have the National Diamonds Sales Distribution. It lasted for about a little over a year, between the end of 71, beginning of 73. These are considered more rare than Mark Jewelers because there's so few of them. Mainly in Archie comics. There's also some amazing Spider-Mans, 96 and 100 typically have a National Diamond Distribution.
And 100, I mean, if you have a 100, then you know about this, if you have a Mark Jewelers. But it's only a small percentage of those as well.
Yeah, so. And like Marvel Team Up 6 is another one. Giant Size, Monsters on the Prowl, number 13. And then we had an Amazing Adventures 11, the first furry beast, with a National Diamond Distribution. Although when I searched it, it does say that these typically could go for more money. Like, we have not seen that in the sales because most people don't know about that.
Yeah, first of all, we don't have enough to have any real data, you know, on our side from being sellers. I can tell you this, that people are really transfixed on looking for Mark Jeweler, and the label won't say that. It'll say National Distribution, number one. Number two, I've bought a book someone called a Mark Jeweler, and it was a national distribution.
Yeah, most people call it that.
I had to call it back out and say, actually, this isn't. So there are two different things. I don't know if you should pay more for those or less or any of that. I just think that it's good to know about it. So I want to make sure to share this kind of stuff with you. We have before. This is not the first time we're talking about this. So,
but if you have an Archie from 72 that is a newsstand or is a Mark Jeweler, it's actually a National Diamond Distribution sales.
Yeah, I just
didn't have Mark
I'm going to
Jewelers.
be selling some. I got a ton of really cool ones, so I'm looking forward to putting those out in the market. Yeah. As a collector and as a reseller, I know comics and I look at comic books every day. So one of the things I do is I look for things I'm interested in. Believe it or not, I'm just not looking for, only things that I think are the hottest, because that's a hard game to play. So let's get to it. First comic, Pep comic number 22. Slap it up there. A big picture of it. Did you guys even ever stop to think that the first appearance of Archie would have a swastika on the cover? That's like a sign of the times. This is from 1941. This is the first appearance of Archie. This book is pretty well known, quite expensive, and hard to find. What do I mean by hard to find? Well, a 1.0 sold for $42,000. A 1.0. What grade is that? Good?
No, it's
Good
like
fair. Is it fair?
Yeah.
A 1.0 does not have to have the cover attached. Mm-hmm. It could have a large piece of the cover missing. We're talking about the lowest grade. But an 8.0 sold for $232,000. I recently saw one for sale. So yeah, they're popular, and Archie is popular and always has been. Archie is, believe it or not, an anchor in comic books.
Well, that's Atomic Age, isn't it?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So pre-code. But if you think about it, of all the characters that have come and gone from the time Archie came out, Archie's still out there. They're still printing Archie. They have this whole time. He's had hundreds of titles, all kinds of different stuff that Archie's had. Archie and the Gang,
Because it was also the first appearance of Betty and Jughead.
Yeah.
Too,
and Betty and Jughead, Betty was a big pull. I like Jughead. He liked hamburgers. I like hamburgers.
Did he like hamburgers in this issue? We don't know. I don't have a copy of it.
All right. So a noteworthy thing here before I move on is this next issue. Noteworthy, Pep 41 is the first cover appearance, which is an interesting cover. He's on the cover with the shield, I think, is the other character. And that's the first cover appearance of Archie. So just so you know that book's no slouch by itself. Recently, a no graded copy, raw, sold for $250. I personally think that book, if you could ever find one, is a cool book to have. The first appearance of Archie on a cover. Next book.
Casper the Friendly Ghost, number 1 from St. John's Press. It's from 1949, and it's the first comic appearance of Casper and the first appearance and origin of Baby Huey and Herman the Mouse.
Baby Huey.
Baby Huey.
Okay, before I even get into the number 1, this is from a mini-series from St. John Press. 5 issues. All of them are very hard to find, just saying. But the number 1 is a cool cover. I like all the covers. I have them pulled up so me and Rachel can see all 5.
I like 5.
Yeah. Show it. Yeah. Show them all. So these are really fun, and I've always liked Casper. Read Casper to my grandson when he was 2 or 3. Loved it. What's some stats on this? What do other people feel about it in the collective world?
Well, there's 61 graded copies, so that's actually not too bad for how old it is. Sales between $1,200 and $1,800, but a 7.0 just recently sold for $6,500.
Yeah, it's difficult to find, and even though if you're younger, you probably don't even know who Casper is. Casper just was a fun character in this litany of characters, Little Devil and all these other characters.
Everyone should know what Casper is. Go watch the
Do you think so?
movie. I think so.
Movie?
There was a Casper the Friendly Ghost movie in my era.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
I watch it every year. Yeah.
Do you really?
Yes, for Halloween.
I had no idea.
I love that movie.
I'll be watching that movie this year.
It's not. You're not gonna like it probably, but I love it.
I'm not gonna be watching that
scary.
movie. I want to be scared. Next book.
We have shown this book before. It's Underdog number 1 from 1970. Charlton Comics, first appearance of Underdog.
If you were a kid like me that watched morning cartoons, Underdog was super fun. And this cover is just such a good representation of Underdog. So it's a book that I really like. It's not that expensive, but it's really tough to find in high grade.
This is total copies not reported on GPA?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
That's what it said.
I'll throw up a number if I'm able to find it.
Okay.
Maybe I can find it. But there's only 196 that sold in 2024 for $1,200.
Yeah, and I bid on one about a year and a half ago, and it just got too high. I really would like to have this in like 9698. We have one right now that's in auction. It's a 7.0. And it probably would be a 9.2, but it has foxing. So it's like got a 7.0.
Foxing really gets knocked down.
Yeah, foxing is a condition that happens to aged paper through moisture, and it just creates spots.
Yeah, it looks like stains, but it's not. It's just the paper starting to get sad.
Sad paper.
Sad paper.
Next book.
So the next one is the Beano number 452. It's the debut of Dennis the Menace. It's from 1950, and there it is.
Yeah,
an ugly cover.
It's interesting. I don't think it's ugly.
It looks like a newspaper.
It is newspaper. There's no gloss. It doesn't have a cover. It is newsprint stapled together and folded over. This is from, it's a Pence copy. It's from Great Britain. But it's the first appearance of Dennis the Menace. And if you're a viewer right now that says, who the heck is Dennis the Menace? Tell them a little bit about the other things Dennis did.
Well, there's a TV show from 1959 to 1963.
I watched it.
I've never watched it.
I've watched reruns. Reruns.
Yeah, you're not that old. I've never watched it.
I still remember Mr. Miller. It was about this little kid, like my grandson's age, that was just being a boy, and he had an older neighbor that was always hollering around at him.
Didn't they make a live action movie like in my
Yes.
I don't think I saw
He's
that.
an IP that someone owns. Someone out there owns this IP. I know that.
There's also a Dennis the Menace number 1, but that's not the first appearance, so it doesn't matter. For the Beano, there is one raw sale that we're able to track in 2025. It sold for $433.
I would like to own this book because I like Dennis the Menace. It'd be fun. Can you imagine going through a comp box and just seeing this sitting there? No one knows what it is. So it's a really fun book, and it's a key comic. Next book.
Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies number 1 from 1941.
What a cool cover this is, guys.
This is the first comic appearance of Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, and Elmer Fudd, and Bugs Bunny looks so weird.
I really like this cover.
It's got a weird little face.
This is not an easy book to find.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
And by the way, I'm sure all of you are familiar with these characters. They've just been in pop culture as long as I've been alive.
I don't have census data written down here, but an 8.5 sold for $14,000 in 2025.
I mean, that sounds like a good deal compared to some of the other ones later on the list.
8.5 is really high grade for a book from the 40s? Are
you
kidding me?
Pretty book. But anyway, if you're ever like, hey, man, when was Elmer Fudd's first appearance in comics? Now you know.
Well, it would have had to have been with Bugs Bunny, because who would Bugs Bunny be without Elmer Fudd?
And my oldest grandson, I'm turning him on to Looney Tunes. And
he's obsessed with it. Also, Looney Tunes is a little raunchy. It's a little raunchy for a child.
They're trying to keep everyone entertained in the room. You know what I'm saying? Next book.
The next one's Mad Magazine 24, which is technically the first Mad Magazine in the format that we know of today.
And as you can see on the cover, it says first issue. That's when EC is making this complete transition to doing magazines. So this is an interesting comic book. Alfred E. Newman's at the very top of it, saying, what me worry. And that would take over the magazine. He would be the icon of Mad Magazine, starting in the next few issues and up to current day.
And this came out in 1955, because I didn't mention that. A 9.4 sold for $2,400 last year.
And that's really cheap if you ask me.
That is pretty cheap. But I mean, Mads are kind of all over the place.
And that, you would think that would mean that you can get a 5.0 or something for maybe $300 or $400, and maybe you can. But I think as you get into lower grades, they're more you're more likely to get it, and it's probably going to even be pricier than you think.
Yeah, it says an 8.0 sells around $600.
Yeah, there you go. So, and that's not a bad price if you ask me for the first issue of Mad. Next book.
This is Little Dot number 1 from 1953, Harvey Comics.
What a cute cover on this.
She's Little Dot. We've had some Little Dots before, not this one. But this is the first appearance of Richie Rich. The first cover appearance of Richie Rich is in Little Dot number 6.
Yep, and then Richie Rich also had his own series. You have some information on that.
Yes, it was in 1953.
Yeah.
That's really all I have.
So let's talk about some data on this Little Dot.
A 4.0 sold in 2024, a 4.0, very good, for $4,000. A 9.6, there's only one 9.6 on the census, sold for $72,000 in 2023. That's crazy.
That's big money.
The first Richie Rich cover, which is issue number 6, the highest grade is a 6.5. It sold for $3,500.
Yeah, that'd be a cool book to get. And also a raw copy of this Little Dot number 1 just recently sold. It must have been very low grade for $17.75 just this year. So
all right, next up. is Del Giant number 48. This is the first appearance of Flintstones in comics.
You know, everyone likes the Flintstones, unless you've never watched the Flintstones. They're great.
And this came out a year after the show.
Del Giant were big square-bound books, so they're kind of hard to find and really high grade. Although, you know, typically they hold together pretty well over time. This is a book I'd like to have in grade if I could ever find a copy.
It's sold for $8,400 in 9.8 in 2025, but it's down
9.8 though. That's that's a ridiculous grade.
But it's down apparently 10% from the previous year. So
yeah, it's going to be like this.
It's still $8,400.
It depends on the collector who, you know, wanted to put $8,500 into the Flintstones.
And there's 174 total graded copies, but it's from 1961, so it's like a little bit newer. It's still pretty old, but a little bit newer than the other ones we're talking about.
So this to me is the creme de la creme.
We've talked about this book before. We both love this book so much. It's so expensive. This is 4-color number 16. The first appearance of Mickey Mouse in comics. And it's also a horror cover. Yeah,
this is a book that I'd like to own at some point. I've held them. I've seen it. Anyway, I think this is a fantastic cover. For it being the very first one, boy, did they nail it. And I love the blot. I like that scary element. So this, to me, is a book that everyone should know. Even if you're never going to get it, you should still know the first appearance of Mickey Mouse. You may collect, I don't know, X-Men from the 80s. You still need to know this. I mean, could you imagine going to a garage sale and they had this and you're thinking, Mickey Mouse, I don't care. You should pick it up.
Well, and if you're into any fandom, at some point Disney's going to own it. So you might as well know what the first appearance of Mickey Mouse is in comic books.
What's the stats on this one?
All I have is that an 8.5 sold in 2023 for $57,000.
It's not bad. It's I would say it's lower than the Archie, the first appearance of Archie, but it's up there. So the Pep Comics is the king in terms of value. If I had a choice between owning these two, I'd never want to have that choice. That's a choice. I would never. You can have one of these. Make a choice in a minute. You pick in the first appearance of Archie, or you pick in the first time Mickey Mouse was ever on a cover. Which one you going to pick? Leave a comment on which one you would pick. I'd have to go with Mickey Mouse, I think.
I mean, as far as value goes, I feel like the Pep would probably be a better deal for investing because you get more money if you get it for free.
I don't really believe in investing that much. I mean, we put that word in there because people like that word, but at the end of the day, get what you like. You might be stuck with comic books you can't sell, so if you like it, it helps.
Yes. I mean, the Mickey Mouse one's cool, though, and it's hard to find.
So you'd pick the Mickey Mouse?
I don't know. I care about the Mickey Mouse one a little more, I guess, than the Pep.
And I really would love a copy of the first appearance of Archie.
We didn't forget. Don't worry. We had a giveaway in our last video. We're giving away Epitaphs from the Abyss #1, the 1 in 10 variant cover, to 2 lucky subscribers who liked and commented on our last video. Here are the winners. The winners are Party Game Time and John-ET5WU. Thank you so much for entering or for commenting and following us here on YouTube. Please reach out to us in the description down below. You can reach out to us through the link that says, do you want to reach out to us? So that we can get your book sent to you. We just need your address. So just send us a little message. And then also down below, you can follow us on eBay. You can check out our Instagram. We have an Amazon store with all of our stuff that we use for pressing and cleaning and for packing comics. So definitely check out all the links that we have down below and subscribe.
If you like our content, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. It helps the algorithm. Sometimes we kind of get buried because we don't post all the time. So we're starting to post all the time. But we'd like, for more people to see our content.
Yeah, over 50% of people that watch us don't subscribe to the channel. We don't post that much.
Yeah,
so.
Do your part. See you guys. Push it. See you guys next time.
Bye.